camera. You can't do it ahead of time with that. So I should be now live. Nobody can see me because it just came up. So nobody's looking yet. They haven't been notified. Okay. You want to be over here?
No,
okay.
I'm not going to be on camera.
I know you're not going to be on camera. If I'm sitting over there, you're...
Well, then move the camera. Just make sure you don't catch
No
me.
problem. Just stand up. It won't catch you up in the ceiling. Oh, let's see where we're at. Yeah, a little bit higher. Why is this thing so fucking hard to move? Okay. We should be live at this point.
Oh, claims we're live.
Yeah, should be showing 0 people there right at the moment. Be my guess.
Yeah. Did you want to move that whiteboard forward or anything?
Not really.
Okay.
Not because I can't put it right here, which is what it would take to do it. That's what we did with that other program, is it allowed you to zoom in and stuff. Okay? It's not available with this. That's the thing with OBS, etc. Oh. Well, let me know if somebody pops up over there. I'm watching the comments and I don't see anything.
I don't see anything.
Yeah.
I see 2 people watching and 1 thumbs up, but nobody's. There we go.
Okay. Who we got there?
Finally gotcha, says David Villa, and Jeff Bybee says hi. And the stupid top fan thing is on.
Huh? Top fan?
Yeah, those dumb little crowns again.
Oh, okay. Who cares?
We're going to have to get the other one working at some point here.
Yeah, well, you can practice it someday when we're not scheduled to do anything. It'd be pretty easy. Hi, folks. Yeah, well, the situation got confused. Somehow OBS dropped YouTube, or YouTube dropped the stream, or something happened. Anyhow, so we just restarted up with pure YouTube to make sure we got something going here. Of course, you never notice anything's wrong until suddenly it's time to go live and it won't go live.
Hi, John.
John who?
John Faber.
Hi, John.
I can't read anything at the moment. Let me take those off. No.
What are you catching from me?
No, my vision changed. I need new glasses.
Oh, goodness.
I was supposed to call, but I've been kind of busy with this whole cancer bullshit.
Yeah, I know. Anyhow,
I will preface this. The goddess has decided to come back and take matters into hand because everybody seems to be like missing this historic occasion in the metals market. Therefore, the goddess will be here tonight. And you may notice those magic, beautiful numbers on the door, on the thing there, that are still going up. So, I'm not going to overdo it. But if you really,
can you guys hear her? Because the mic is pointing towards me. Are you able to hear Eva clearly?
Silver is going to the freaking moon. And by the way, yes, I'm not going to overdo it. Of course, if anybody wants to guarantee I won't overdo it, the goddess has been side-eyeing a Ninja Creamy Junior. You know, one of those little Ninja Creamy ice cream makers that they sell at Walmart. Not the big fancy $100 thingy. And it can even be used. I don't care. I just want to be able to make a pint of keto ice cream. That's what I want.
Can you hear her?
I'm assuming they say yes very clearly. I'm reading the comments. I will know if they don't hear me.
Well, that's fine. I can't see the comments.
Tadaima! Hello! Woo-hoo.
So, Anyhow, you're going to have to read those comments to me. I can't see them from over here.
Oh, we're so glad you're here. Yes, clearly. Tie down, sound is great, etc., etc. Okay, so we have noticed that all the metals are on the road to the moon, which everybody knew they were supposed to be anyway. Well, this is going to change a whole lot of things about our up and coming mining season. Because you may remember, or you may not, just how bad it was when silver went over about $28 or $30 an ounce and gold broke into its like 4,000 something last year. How all of a sudden everybody and his uncle was paper staking claims and selling scams all over the freaking internet and the whole 9 yards in a very inappropriate and rude fashion. Okay? It's going to be 10 times worse now. And I mean, it can't fail to be 10 times worse now because we've now got gold over 5,000. Silver has a new practical floor of 100. And we have environmentalists that are fighting everything under the sun. And we have government agencies that are not getting rid of regulations as fast as they can. So some of the things that we're going to be discussing over the next month or so are things like claims perfection, doing your claims research on archival websites, etc., trying to find out what local mining district you're actually in and getting that mining district running again, because that is not that hard and it's entirely under law, not regulation. So it gives us more of a voice as the little guys. We also need to start watching for people who are scheduling events in the public interest to discuss the disposition of public lands in the West.
Are you able to read all of those?
Yes.
Okay.
Because ever since the administration made that floater out there about selling off public lands, the screaming, dreamy memes have been going friggin' nuts. So when you hear about a public meeting regarding public lands, where you're going to be, you need to be there with bells on, with people with you, with voices and a tape recorder. James, Mexico is not, as far as I know, they don't have any new mines that they're planning at this moment. And they're not planning on shutting down anything reasonable for the environmentalists. What's going on down in Mexico now is something I'm going to be discussing on the Tinfoil Hat Report. Because there's a whole lot of geopolitical nonsense tied up in gold and silver that is not being taken seriously that needs to be, you know.
Microphone's up here.
Yeah, I'm reading comments. Don't worry about it. And that's something that we're going to be discussing. Our first priority, as far as I see it, is to start establishing a beachhead for policy shifting and policy direction here in the U.S. for the people in our part of the mining sector, the small miner. We need to start working on getting our mining districts in order again. We need to start working on joining good public land groups, attending their meetings, and advancing policy in our local neighborhood at every level. And no, Silver Mountain won't be shutting down. And yeah, pretty much half of the silver down there in Mexico has already been illegally seized. Most people don't realize that the cartel now officially owns / controls about 65% of all mining operations in Mexico, and the other 35% they get kickbacks on anyway. All that silver is cartel. They're not going to want to shut that down. The question is, how are they going to try to keep it away from us, or how are they going to give it to China? That's the other question right there. But that's an entirely later in the conversation here. What we need to start doing is developing coherent strategy. What are we going to do about claim jumpers? What are we going to do about keeping an eye on Craigslist in our local areas and YouTube in our local areas so we can identify new scam rings as they pop up, like that one did that popped up here that started in Colorado and branched out, so that we can protect ourselves? Because we already know our dearly beloved federal government that steals all of their funds from us every year does absolutely nothing in return for those funds. They're not doing it, so we have to do it, and we have to find lobbying groups to do it for us in Washington. That's where we are in that regard.
Well, we have a situation where the prices have gone through the roof. Gold's basically doubled, silver's basically tripled. Not much platinum out there in the way of small mining anyway, but it's, what was platinum used to be, about 1,000?
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's when they closed down out here.
Yeah, I forget the name of it. Yeah. So
that's going to be opening again.
First thing you need to do is evaluate all the known prospects, claims, and everything that you've looked at in the past, and see if these numbers change things dramatically in any particular case.
Exactly, David. David says we need intelligent people in the right seats manning all aspects of gold mining. Part of getting that is going to be getting mining districts active again. And a second part of getting that is going to be getting a good land rights organization that actually will fight like bulldogs. And yeah, I know, honey bunny, our locals are not as well. Some of our locals, you know, some of our locals are great with silver. Other people forget it. I had somebody that was saying this was a great opportunity to pivot from silver to Bitcoin.
Anyhow, by the way, it's nice to see you, honey bunny. It must have been kind of brutally chilly there a couple of days ago. I'm glad you made it through all right. Anyhow, so you take a look, first of all, if you have any claims, how does this change your economics? Okay. Because it might have been something you can take, like the Red Wing Mine has been doing some videos lately.
And they're great videos too.
And he's talking about 1/3 of an ounce to the ton. Well, 1/3 of an ounce to the ton now is what, $1,500 plus?
Yep.
Which
economic.
Ain't too shabby.
Right, it hurts.
They'll put it on my leg then, not the desk. It's right in front of the camera. But anyhow, so evaluate your particular situation. Not the desk. It's right in front of the camera. But anyhow, so evaluate your particular situation and see if there is a qualitative changes. I'm like, well, now I really need to try and turn this thing around and make money, or not. There may be another prospect out there that's been unclaimed for a while that was kind of marginal, and so you never did anything about it. And now might be a good time to claim it up, if nothing else, so you can sell it later. This is going to be a frenzy. And whenever a frenzy like this happens, a rush, so to speak, the whole dynamics change. You'll be able to sell claims for higher prices and quicker turnover than you used to, etc. What?
Honey says land organizations would be a great idea. Well, everybody should research. I know there's a Western land rights something or other. We got to find a good one that we can get behind, and also smaller ones in our local area. And you lost a buck last night? Oh, that sucks. That's terrible.
Anyhow,
and she says she still doesn't know how much silver's under her. She can't find out until she can muck out the well to see what's down there.
Yeah. And so, let's say you need to evaluate your situation. Also, there's going to be claim jumpers. There's going to be paper stakers. There's going to be people that will paper stake your claim and sell it to somebody. And then you go out on your claim and somebody's out there with a pick and a shovel saying it's their claim. I would recommend at this time, if you have claims, to take copies of the documents that show when you filed the claim originally, that it's up to date, and the whole 9 yards. So that if you go out there and somebody's sitting on your claim, you can go up there and politely, always start politely, okay? And just say, look, I'm sorry, but you are mining on my claim. And they'll go, oh no, I bought it from Fred's mining claims on the internet and I own it now. It's all mine. And you say, no.
And you need to be able to show them the fresh papers.
Yeah, and say, then you show them, I staked this X number of years ago. And I've had it all this time. I'm still in good standing.
And be sure to get out there as soon as the snow stops flying if that's an obstacle to perfect your claim. Make sure your corner posts are in place.
Check all your corners.
Make sure your monuments are in place. Halfway on each border, it would not hurt to put up a federal mining claim sign that says, this is a federal mining claim, fuck off. Or something nice and polite.
Well, Eva also mentioned it looks more intimidating if it's a new sign.
Yeah, if everything looks new and fresh and the paperwork when they look at it shows it's like 10 years old, then they say, wow, not only has this guy owned this that long, but he is on top of his shit. He does not let his shit fall apart.
But be dramatically more aggressive in watching, double checking. Make sure somebody isn't taking your claim stakes and throwing them away and putting their own in.
All of your claim stakes should have a trail cam on them so that you can catch vandalizing.
Well, you're talking discovery monuments.
Well, it doesn't hurt to have it on corner stakes either.
It does when it's $100 a camera.
Oh, it ain't that bad.
Oh, they're not that cheap. How are you going to?
At the very least, you need to have one on your monument.
And
you need to have, if you've got one corner that covers two claims, you need one on those too.
That's it. Everyone's got a different situation, but trail cams can be very useful. Now, assuming you come out on your claim and Joe, the crazy guy from let's say Minnesota, has come on over here to stake his claim and bought it from, Joe's gold mines. If they get excited, rude, any belligerent or whatever, don't argue with them.
Well, guys, it is possible to hide trail cameras really well. I have seen it.
Yeah, but it's a little hard when you got to have the lens out there. Depends on your situation. But anyhow, a claim is not worth dying over. It's not worth the legal fees, even if you defend yourself legally. If a person gets grumpy, belligerent, or whatever, just say, okay.
And call the sheriff.
Then call the sheriff. Okay.
But the thing is,
let them argue it for you.
If you can take the time to strategically place trail cams, they come in very handy.
Oh, yes, they do. A lot of times the place is along the road to your claim. In many cases, there's only like one road in and out of an area.
If you've only got one area that they're going to come by, they're going to come in on.
Yeah. That's like Max's claim over there by Bishop.
Exactly.
There was only one road that went up that whole draw. So you can pick a beautiful spot to put your trail camera, to get the license plate numbers and all that other stuff. But the main point of the argument is you need to be more aggressive at observing, perfecting, keeping your paperwork, and having copies of your paperwork with you, so that, let's suppose Elmo is out there on your claim and you go, hey, it's my claim. And he says, well, I don't think so. I think it's my claim. And you go, okay, well, we've got to settle this. First of all, if you got paperwork which clearly shows you've had it for a lot longer than the paperwork he's got shows the previous owner had it, and it looks pretty good. Thing is with the sheriff too. A sheriff shows up, he doesn't want to get into a big thing. If you can demonstrate this is my claim, and the other guy, the sheriff can look at it and say, well, it looks to me like this guy is the legitimate owner, but I can't make a decision. But, if you want to take it to court, that's fine, but I don't want any trouble. So you can see it. People will be breaking into mines. They'll be cutting off locks. They'll be jimmying doors open.
And
all
stealing
kinds of stuff.
equipment if they can.
Possibly stealing equipment too. So again, it gets pretty frisky if you're not actually on your claim taking care of it, it can get less than pleasant under these conditions.
Now, we may or may not have an agreement as to how to choose claims in a hot environment. My personal view on this is I'm going to initially look for good claim opportunities that are already directly contiguous to something I have held for some time and happen to be vacant for some reason.
That'd be the first thing.
The second thing, however, is this may actually be a reasonable time to look at patented mining claim that is being sold for real estate. And you know, the goddess has always said, don't ever buy a freaking patented mining claim unless you've got water rights, you have secure egress
Access.
and ingress and all that, and it's worth the real estate value. This might be one time where some of them actually are.
And another situation that's going on here.
Uh-oh.
What?
Honey's local sheriff likes her.
Ooh. Anyhow, so you've got to understand the regulatory and economic environment and how it's changing right now. With this administration, resource development has been given a high priority, especially resource development, which is considered strategic or critical.
And silver is now critical along with copper.
So silver is, but here's what I was getting to. There's at least one smelter being built. It's been announced in Tennessee. I know there's another smelter they're trying to build in the Montana, Idaho, possibly Nevada area if they can't get the permitting. They prefer to do it in Montana. Okay. But here's something that a lot of people don't know because we've lost a lot of smelters. Smelters need silica in order to do their work. When we make flux for our stuff, it's like 9 parts silica out of about 30 parts of flux. No, 40 parts of flux total. Okay. They need silica. When you have smelters running around, it's quite common for them to be happy to pay you a reasonable percentage of the entrained precious metals value of your silica in order to A, get the remainder of the precious metals value, which they will if they use it as flux, and B, they don't have to pay for silica. They get the silica for free. I have heard of things like 90% of the gold value. Well, it's awfully hard to process your material and get 100% recovery for less than 10% cost. It's really economic. There's zero capital cost. There's zero permitting.
Yeah, the mining economics in general are going to change drastically here. And to touch lightly on the administration again, that is why it is so critical right now for us to be going out and throwing money into like Western Public Lands Alliance.
Well, there's Public Lands for the People is one that I know of.
Yeah, groups like that, because we need our lobbyists. Yeah, right now the big boys have big lobbyists out in Washington.
Lobbyists.
Plenty of them. However, not all of the big boys' plans are going to coincide with a reality that would be pleasant for us. It would not surprise me at all if, in fact, their idea of a good idea really screws us over.
Yeah.
And we need to avoid that.
The big mining companies, we're a nuisance. Okay. To
David says AMRA.
American Mining Rights Association. Okay. But anyhow, so I say the situation is changing dramatically, and you need to be aware of that. You need to adapt your behavior to the new circumstances.
Speaking of the new circumstances, aside from everything else, silver and gold are still criminally underpriced and on sale. So you best still be backing up the truck here, people. I mean, and if you're wondering, like some yo-yos that I have spoken to, lately the yo-yos have come out of the woodwork. The ones that have quintupled their money from when they were bitching at paying $19 an ounce. And they're saying, well, I went down to my local LCS and I want to sell it back to him for a profit, and he's not buying anything right now. What the fuck? And they aren't. A lot of the local coin stores are not buying unless they have to at the moment, because the prices are changing so rapidly that they can't take the risk. The littler guys like we have, he told us when we were down there the other day and he was dropping bricks on bringing in silver, he told us, we're running out of money.
Mhm.
These are little guys. They have a big bankroll. Speaking, they've got a chain of like 6 or 7 stores across 2 states here,
Which are all doing the same
and
thing.
they're all doing the same thing. And all of these stores are making good money. His sales more than doubled in the past year, but because the prices are jumping so damn fast, they can't get a stable spread. They can't get a stable platform to negotiate on, and the smaller stores are running out of capital. So,
Well, here's another thing. You can actually potentially turn that to your advantage. Let's say you have Joe's small coin store, right? And you got all these people coming in that are buying silver, but other people want to sell it. And if he's buying silver and he is running out of money, he's likely to sell you silver he's got. Let's suppose he bought a bunch of junk silver coin, because we saw that at say $50 or $60 an ounce, and now he's running short of cash. Well, even if it's $110 an ounce, he'll be willing to sell that to you for $100 an ounce so he can get the cash that he needs.
yeah, currently our guy is changing his prices several times a day because he has to. His buy sell, he's changing his spread. And for instance, he tries to talk people out of selling 90% right now because it is so iffy as to whether he'll get it. He was buying it at 50 times face and selling it at 65 times face. Except for his Cole Morgans and his Cole Peace dollars, I do wish I had bought some because he was still selling them for like $1.89 or $2 under melt.
Under melt.
Yes, under. They were under, and I was like, oh, I wanted them, but I bought a couple of other things. Now there are people who will laugh at this one, but he had a beautifully toned 1990 Australian kookaburra. Okay. Now, for anybody who knows anything about our friends at the Perth Mint, they know that Perth makes an exceptional product. Anybody who knows anything about kookaburras knows that the opening year, first year of mint, was 1990. And anybody who knows the size of the first year mint knows that they had a total minted of 27,994, I believe it was, out of an allowed 35,000. And of those 20,994, approximately 5,000 some odd were privy. They were in top, stripe there. So I got me a beautiful first year of issue kook that is seriously holding. I got it for, get this, I got that kook for $2 over spot. That is just screaming deal. If I had had more money on me, there would have been more coming home. I would have backed up the truck because I got some screaming deals.
So,
and they are still out there. And the thing is, I've got yo-yos asking, well, how the hell do I sell my silver now that I've made a profit? It's like, it's money, you idiot. You don't sell it, you spend it. We're going to be looking at sheriff's auctions here as an example. Lots of states, and this is something that a lot of states are doing now that might interest you. Several of the states that passed sound finance laws, unfortunately Montana wasn't one of them, I don't think, passed a law that you can use gold and silver to pay for debts, for public debts. So if you bought at a sheriff's auction, for instance, you wouldn't have to lose any money selling the silver to a coin shop at, 10% under or 20% under if you're lucky, and then turn around and use the cash to pay for the property that you picked up at the sheriff's
You're
auction.
keeping track of all those.
There
right?
are places where you can do it.
'Cause I can't see any
big
of them.
stacked in Oz is nearing his 40,000 1 kilogram target in copper. Woohoo! Oh yeah, Mr. Virtue. I'm only starting my hunt for what I have in mind, but something will be happening.
I say, it's a very dynamic time, and as long as you're not worried about making short-term returns, I think you're pretty safe buying silver, even at current prices, because it's just gonna the fundamentals are going to keep pushing it up. And so
Hiya, Sakura.
if you're safe,
Hi, Mr. Virtue.
just buy it.
Yep.
Put it away.
Buy it, hold it, and sit on it, people. Because oh yeah, storage lot auctions. A friend of mine finds a lot of jewelry in those, which is great too.
Yeah. Well, and he was asking us, because again the price of silver is up. He said, should I sell my silver stuff here? And I said, I wouldn't sell it, but you might be able to exchange. For example, if you've got sterling silver jewelry, that's not easy to sell very well. It's not very fungible. But if you can trade that to a refiner or whatever for, $9.99 or whatever, and get it in something that's more fungible, then, later on that could come in handy.
Oh, and also, we celebrated with one of my friends online today because he put up a notice on our little sub where we all talk on Reddit about silver, and all the Bitcoin people are coming over and saying, you do realize you should be converting to Bitcoin now. Don't ask me why. And our friend said, well, I went to move my stack. I went to move my stack to a safer location, but it inexplicably grew, so I'm not able to move it. He found a guy that was selling a homestead that he was putting together, a little off-grid cabin, little barn, little workshop, and a big pasture, a big area to put your animals in place he'd been wanting to live, place he had been looking at. And the guy said, and he'd been asking the guy about every year, hey, I got silver. Would you consider taking silver for it? This time the guy called him and said, are you still willing to give me silver for your land? And for my land? And he said, yep. And poof, just like that, his stack became immobile and unstealable. Which is the goal of all silver stacks.
So I say it's pretty interesting time.
Yeah, crap coin.
I may be stupid, I may be a dinosaur, but I don't trust any kind of currency that can disappear in a poof of electrons and is gone forever.
Oh, well, the guy on X was like, well, I have $1,000 Comex bond right here. I can't sell my $1,000 Comex bar to anybody, but I can sell Bitcoin and buy Bitcoin anywhere in the world in seconds. So this bar is useless. And I'm thinking to myself, top voted comment on that viral post, by the way, was, well, if you think it's useless, I'll take it off your hands.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, you never let anybody know where your goodies are, but now his friends know his goodies are land in the house. They can't very well drive off with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing about Bitcoin right there. Turn out the lights and it ceased to exist. Very bad, stupid stuff. Now, a lot of people are also speculating right now as to where this is going to go. Because I'll tell you, watching those long vertical candles and the roller coaster we had today, we went from 103 up to 115, 116, and then boom. Just as the market closed, we were down to 104 again, and gold was down to like 49 something again. Now it started, the market opened again, and boom, we got these long roller coaster rides that are just absolutely beautiful. And the thing about that is there will be people that are going to pump and dump on this in the paper market. It will be interesting to see if they actually do pump and dump the paper market with silver the way they do with Bitcoin. Because if they do, the rest of us can have a hell of a lot of fun just watching the mayhem occur, or possibly participating on a physical level if you can get some good arbitrage. I mean, I, quite frankly, am kind of hoping we get the correction that a couple of people I trust were predicting back to 85 within another 2 weeks, because that gives me time to find 2 weeks worth of fiat so that I can back up the truck and get more silver. But right now, consensus of opinion is our big banks are going to try to keep that roller coaster going. Maybe not as dramatic as it was today, but they're going to try to keep it going because every chance they get. Well, there's a couple of zillion players in the paper market. The ones that people never think about are the paper brokerage firms. These are the people that hold the paper silver mutual funds.
The things. You can talk while looking.
Yeah, she's talking about how paper markets are vile, which they are. And they're evil. And the thing is, I don't know if y'all remember, but some years back there, I think it was about 08 or 09 when we had our last little kerfluffle and we adjusted up to about 28. Nobody noticed, but in the space of 1 week, mind you, over 200 shady fly-by-night paper silver market brokerage firms that had talked people into buying paper silver IRAs and saying, you can trade in your paper silver for real stuff anytime, or the ETF funds were all closing. And when they go poof, the paper behind them goes poof. So the consensus of opinion amongst the people who watch that part of the market, which a lot of those shady firms are owned by JP and the big guys. So they're thinking JP and the big guys are going to start shaking that tree and getting that going and making sure that they start shaking it enough that those little brokerage houses fall. Because when those brokerage houses fall, if they're far away in the paper trail, then the brokerage house goes poof, the paper silver disappears, the bag holders have no idea how they got ripped off, and JP and the rest of the banks have less paper to deal with. Red Wing, hello. And we were just talking about what a great mine you've been running down there. Those videos are so gorgeous. Very, very nice.
It's nice to see those lifter bars helped out. I'm thinking that by using the round rod, you may have actually made a little bit of a catch groove there. So as it comes around, it really lifts that stuff up. It's got to get vertical above before it can fall back out potentially. That might really be why it's helping your recovery to the outfalls of the mill instead of keeping it trapped in the mill. But that seemed to be a pretty dramatic change. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a very nice video.
So I say that's working pretty good there.
But that is what the big guys are looking like they're doing. I have not seen the bank failure in Europe as Asian guy states yet, Mr. Virtue. I am watching, okay? I am watching that. Because I'm pretty sure that if I look it up, we're going to find that a lot of small banks and small brokerage houses have been slowly shutting down in the background and nobody's been noticing. And so I'm going to start watching that, because I'm thinking the best exit strategy to hold the market together until they really don't care whether it implodes would be to keep this steady level going on with little corrections every day looking the same so that they can pull out paper and make paper disappear. Because if they had to cover all that paper right now, they couldn't. It would cost them over $400 an ounce for the group of banks as a whole that are in COMEX to cover their paper. And those are their short positions. And they're not going to be able to get the silver to do it anyway because that's more than like 3 years production. So they're kind of totally and completely screwed, which means they need to find a way to exit relatively gracefully that is not going to twing too many alarm bells. So I think we're going to be heading right around between 1 and 115 on silver for at least a month or two, unless something big comes up in the world, other than what's already big in the world. And then we may see a stabilization at 135, and they'll leave it at that for about a week or two to get people interested, and then they'll drop it back down, and they'll try the same thing because they're trying to ramp it up. If they can grab this year's production at anything between the current short problem and when it has to be paid off, that they can pull it out and get it out of there, it's a help. This is a case where every buck is going to count. And even though these guys are bankers and crooks, unparalleled crooks, they are aware of that. They are aware that there are times that you need to dig yourself out a dollar at a time.
Well, another question I've got, little one.
And Red Wing says that what you said was exactly what he was hoping for. And yep, it's the New World Order implosion.
Well, my question is, little one.
Yes.
I was watching, I think it was Glenn Beck today, and he was saying that Japan is really over leveraged in terms of debt to GDP, and they own a lot of our debt. So if they have problems, it could reflect over here. He was also saying that China, as far as we can tell, it's a little bit opaque over there because they don't necessarily tell the truth. But it appears their debt to GDP ratio is in excess of 300%.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Europe, as far as I can see, is pretty weak. So what do you think is likely to happen on the global economic scale?
Well, there's a couple of things that have to be looked at here. When we're talking about silver, which is the thing that worries me the most always, the biggest wild card here is Mexico. And yes, I know all the naysayers say, well, I know people that are sitting on 2,000 an ounce and all that crap. I have seen the videos on all directions on this. And the intuition, and the goddess is pretty damn well known for intuition, makes it very clear that that does not matter frog all when the Mexican cartels do seize the final control of the silver and the other critical metals they have down there. Because they will. Scheinberg is not safing up. Scheinbaum is not safing up to be the president they were hoping for when they assassinated her into office. She's not shaping up as they liked. They're not liking the fact
Who's they?
That the cartels. They're not liking the fact that the border situation and the migrant flow situation going on is definitely working against them at this time. And they do control the silver, and Mexico is still, in fact and practically speaking, not only the single largest exporter, they're the single largest producer, and they have the largest reserves. Now, Canada does have some very good stuff. Canada in the cobalt region has the other end of the Bato Pilas complex. I'd love to find out where the middle points on that complex are between Cobalt Canada and Mexico.
That's 2,000 or 3,000 miles.
Yes.
Easily.
And I want to know where that part of the complex is, because the Bato Pilas complex is the same complex that is in Cobalt Canada at 2,000 an ounce.
I've never heard of that.
I was talking to Kuya Silver about it. They're the ones mining it up in Canada.
Oh.
Remember the chunk of silver they sent me?
Yeah.
It's the same Bato Pilas foundation that comes from down there.
Or at least a very similar one, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Have they done a complete isotope analysis to prove it or something?
Yep.
Huh.
They wanted to know where it came from because it was a different crystalline infusion than some of the other crystalline infusions they have up there. And they said, yeah, it turned out Bato Pilas.
Okay.
Well, lovely. And yes, the cartels are also beholden to the CCP to a great extent. And yep. And Japan finally moved interest rates from 0 in 40 years. Yeah, it's about.
And I say I don't know. I know Glenn Beck was saying this could get significant for the United States.
Well, yeah, because the thing is, everybody's worried about China and critical minerals. Everybody's worried about China and rare earths.
Yeah.
What they're not looking at is China has also been significantly wooing the companies that control silver. Mexico, #1 producer in the world, now seriously beholden to China. Canada, like second or third or fourth producer in the world, behold the biggest mines beholden to China. Central Africa, every place that has silver, China is showing up. We've been too busy screeching about China's heavy rare earths and China's gold. They're going after the silver now, and they've been doing a very damn good job of it. Mm-hmm. Especially with the deals they've been making vis-a-vis drugs with our cartel buddies down there too.
Well, the difference between rare earths and silver is that rare earths are not that rare. It's merely a refining problem, whereas silver itself is a critical industrial metal.
45th in the Earth's composition.
Yeah, but there is no large resources laying around that can be extracted that we know about but aren't extracting. So rare earths, it's just like, well, yeah, there's some there's some right over here, just west of here. Good quality rare earths.
Now there are active silver mines in Oregon, and a matter of fact, I believe the Sunshine Mining Complex up in Idaho is going well, of course, and expanding. Hecla Mining is up in the same area. I believe they actually straddle part of Oregon and Idaho up there.
Well, that's Washington and Idaho.
And what is the name of that other one that begins with an H that's up there? But that whole area, it's not Hecla.
I don't know. Now, Coeur d'Alene
silver is amazing.
You know, that's a good thing. But are these companies there, or is Coeur d'Alene another company?
Coeur d'Alene district has like 3 or 4.
Okay. Because another thing younger people could do is just get jobs at mines too and learn the skills that they would need.
Yeah, Samsung versus Tesla, Mr. Virtue. There is some hope. There is some help. There is some speculation that Elon is looking at buying a mid-cap silver mining company like Hecla, or the other one who's for whatever name. It begins with an H, and I cannot remember it right now, but it's up there in Idaho. It's up in the Silver Valley region. Yeah. And that's what Elon should have done. But I think part of the problem is Elon will going to run the place, and he's not good at that. Don't need the man screwing up a perfectly good functional silver mine. Another thing that should be looked at is cases like the case we have here with Montana Tunnels. Montana Tunnels is probably one of the most mismanaged, ridiculous cases of remediation bullshit that I have ever seen in my life. It is rivaled in Montana only by
the Berkeley Pit.
No, only by Fort Belknap. There's a mine out by Fort Belknap that I can't remember the name of. They were both covered. They were both owned by Pegasus. The problem we have here at Montana Tunnels, which is right down the road from our house, is it's absolutely it's very redeemable, and it's very remediable. It's a good ore body. It's got fantastic. You could mine that mine water in that thing. The acid mine drainage is well worth getting the materials out of. However, there is apparently one mofo with a couple of crackpot friends that moved there and has made it his life's mission to make sure that even the people who put down remediation bonds cannot get in there and pick that shit up and make it work properly. This one moronic individual has managed to scuttle 3 remediation projects that I know of, because he'd rather see it sit there and poison the soil and poison the wildlife and be an active hazard than be mined and be a good thing. And I can see that situation out at Fort Belknap, because out there what happened was a tailings
Pond.
pond breach
Yeah.
put a whole bunch
dam
of
breach.
very nasty cyanide out there and caused a large fish die off on the reservation. And we have the safety coin that I got from that one.
Okay.
I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but there's a lot of remediation sites that are now going to become even more valuable that need to be bonded and remediation beginning on them.
Now, I would expect a silver shortage to last 2 to 5 years. And by then, they will have brought enough new production online, either from opening new mines, expanding production at existing mines, or reworking old waste dumps.
I will read that link in a minute, honey.
I mean,
hi, Kodak.
This is also why whenever you're dumping waste, you put really bad waste over here and the stuff that's almost over there, so that when prices do these sort of things, you can go to that dump and mine like a little beaver, more like a gopher, because it's already mined, it's already stockpiled. It's just it wasn't quite good enough, to run through the mill at the old price.
That's the thing. That's in addition to focusing on pushing reasonable policy in DC. There's no reason why an active mining district couldn't get together. If there was an active mining district that had a mine in it that was eligible for remediation, there's no reason why an active mining district couldn't get together, put down the bond, and start remediating. Personally, I'm just hoping that the guy that's been sitting out there stopping anything from happening at Montana tunnels is such an old fart that he finally decides to shuffle off the mortar coil and something nice and sensible can go on out there, because it's a beautiful mine. That is a tremendous economic resource.
Now is that pit all filled with water right now?
Highway slave. I believe it is a flooded mine, part of it at least. I at Kodak would see some general costs of mining for an ounce, mainly commercial. Well, there's no general mining cost because all mines are different.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't very well say, it will average X dollars a ton. You could only do it if you knew what equipment was going to be on it.
Are you going to go underground, or are you going to go surface? What's the processing
blasting
cost? What's the ore to waste rate? This is where my project cost calculator comes in real handy.
The one on his website.
Yeah, just some round numbers. You can probably open pit for somewhere in the neighborhood of $3 to $15 a ton right now. Depends on a number of factors. Underground mining is typically going to run you something like $10 to $100 a ton if you don't have a lot of ground support issues. Ground support can get really expensive. However, at these prices, certain situations might have developed where they can say, okay, they mined 50% of this out and left 50% air in there. At these prices, we can take the tailings, mix them with cement, pour them in there, let them harden, and dig out the rock while leaving the cemented fill to hold up the back. And say this is one of those things where all the engineers got to redo it.
He heard the Chinese cost of producing was $2,000 an ounce.
For what, gold?
Yeah.
Well, it would depend on the particular mine.
If somebody's got an easy mine.
Yeah, say it's one of those deals where you have to, what
Highcroft. That's the name of that other mine. Keep an eye on two mining stocks: Hecla, Hecla Mining Company, and Highcroft Mining, Hycrof, as in Fox T. Oh, and the guys down at Scottsdale, First Majestic is planning to do something interesting here lately. They're making interesting noises again, but they haven't told us any details yet. So keep an eye on First Majestic.
There's also a mining company that's looking at stuff trying to develop locally here called Badger Silver. Or was it Silver Bow? Do you remember?
I do not. Oh, let me look it up.
Might have been Silver Bow. But anyhow, I say any company that was looking to open a new mine that, you know, it was showing profits at $35 an ounce is now looking at huge profits. So that can really positively affect the stock. Very dynamic time. Very dynamic indeed.
Silver Bow, Montana, Badger Silver Mine.
Is that a company or just the mine?
I'm looking, dude. Butte, Silver Bow, Montana, part of the renowned Butte Mining District.
Yeah, that's the mine itself, not the company.
Yeah, the class. I always ask Lauren next time we talk.
Yeah. But anyhow, so that's another way you can try and take advantage of this. So it's going to change stock prices and productions and all kinds of things in all these mining companies.
Yep, Silver Bow.
Silver Bow Mining. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. They've got some pretty good ore down there, and they had to go ahead economically last spring at $35 an ounce. What the heck are they got now? Okay.
Yep, but anyway, those are four mining companies to keep an eye on for different reasons. Yeah, Newmont is a big one that shows up.
Yep.
Newmont is a very big one that shows up.
You know, and then I say the gold mining too. I mean, gold doubled, silver tripled, but in both cases, it radically changes the economics of the company as a whole and individual projects individually. So, yeah.
Well, anyway, I am beginning to get tired, so I'm going to leave it to Bear to talk about just general mining things.
And
the goddess does not approve of incursions.
Anyhow, so what I'm going to do is after she leaves, I'm going to move the camera around a little bit so I can sit there and look at the screen. Let me adjust here. Oh, dear. There's that ugly dude. Let's see, what can I do here? That looks better. Okay. Let's see. Nuance, big one. It seems to be. I saw some interesting stuff on that, John, but we're going to avoid that subject. Okay? Or at least I will. Okay? Asakura says, applause to Eva.
Yeah, anybody who wants to not avoid that subject, email him, please.
Yep, Eva is doing much better. Eva had a rough week last week. She was having trouble with some nausea, and apparently that also will throw your electrolytes off, throws your hydration off. Friday and Saturday last week, she was in the hospital getting topped off with both potassium and just fluids. Because they have a port in her, it's pretty easy to do so. They don't have to stick much of anything. So she was pretty weak last week. She had a bit of a rough time of it, but she's doing much better. I think she's bottomed out. She's on the mend at this point. And that's what the doctors feel too. We were at the speech therapist today, and he actually stuck a small camera up her nose and down into her throat so you could see how her vocal cords and her epiglottis and all that other stuff were working. And everything is working quite well. The only thing that is not up to normal is just the strength of her tongue and her throat itself when you're trying to swallow something big.
So they give you tongue push-ups.
You know? Yeah, so she's doing tongue ups. Yeah. And anyhow, so take care, John. So let's say she's doing okay right now. Still, you know, she doesn't have much gas in the gas tank, but at least she can get the engine running. And I think by next week she'll be doing a lot better. Once her skin heals up reasonably, then she won't be too bashful about showing her face again. It shouldn't be anything permanent, but it's one of those deals where right now it's not pleasant to look at, and it makes her feel very self-conscious. So she doesn't want to. But it's like she is physiologically overall doing quite well under the circumstances. So that's good news there. In terms of the laboratory stuff, haven't done a lot of work this week because I haven't gotten the lab results. I need to evaluate what I should do next. The results I showed you last week let me know enough stuff to say, okay, next thing I need to do is get the hydrogen peroxide figured out. Okay. So I did a series of tests there, and I'm waiting for the lab results to tell me what happened. Yep, that happens a lot, Michael. I had I think it was a state engineer tell me one time that the Lost Dutchman's gold mine, there was no Lost Dutchman's gold mine. What it was miners were high grading the Mammoth mine and selling the specimen grade ore to a fence. The fence was the Dutchman. So he said he's got his secret mine out there that's got all this really good stuff, but all he was doing was fencing it for the miners. So that would not surprise me in the slightest. So interesting stuff. The boys are focusing right now on making sure everything is down there or on the way there for starting the what do you call it? The leaching of the sulfide concentrates. And so it's a pretty complex thing to start from scratch up there when you don't have anything of that nature, no lab, no equipment or whatever. So it's finding all the different stuff, make a list, check it twice. Let's see, is this it? Insert instructions, information, important note. I mean, the list is pretty significant, all the different things. But that's it's not too bad. They're trying to get that up and running. And by the time they get there, the excavation should be complete to open up the lower levels in the old pit. There's tunnels in the wall. When they came in, and they had a high wall here to a pit. There was tunnels here. When they dug into this high wall to get a road to the tunnel, they just threw everything over the side, so the lower tunnels got buried, and they wound up with, you know, a big pile of dirt like that. So just recently they started digging this out so that they can now access these tunnels. This should be higher grade. All the information is, in the past it was significantly higher grade. My suspicion is that it will also have higher amounts of sulfides because it hasn't had as much contact with oxygen. So my presumption is the whole sulfide leaching thing is going to become more important. I don't know. So that's the basic plan. And he should be going there in a week or two and starting up again. During this time, they've both been adding cash and also running the old school Arrastra equipment to make some cash flow. And it also, using the old style Arrastras also gives them the ability to get a good idea of what the ore is that they're now digging in, you know? Yeah. So, well, it would be nice if you had all the time and money in the world, honey bunny, to do it right from the get-go. How often does that happen? But anyhow, so that's what's going on down there at this point in time. And I say they should be, you know, kicking butt on that in another week or two. And then I'll be really kind of on call to assist whenever they have questions or whatever. I know they're going to have questions when it comes to the leaching circuit and the stripping circuit and the resin and everything else. So that's just guaranteed. But right now, they asked me, what do we need to do? And it's like, well, the first thing you need to do is find out what you need to do. Okay. This sheet right here, got to go through the total list that I gave them of stuff that needs to be got down there, and what has shown up, what's on order, how long does it take? For example, hydrogen peroxide. What's the cost? What's the availability? What concentrations can we buy? I don't know. That's what all this is about. So they have to get that information before I can kind of finalize some plans. It's my opinion that in general, if you can use hydrogen peroxide at around the 12 to 15% level, it's a lot safer and less complicated. If you could get, let's say, like 12% hydrogen peroxide, which is what I'm currently doing, if you can get that at roughly the same cost per milliliter of pure hydrogen peroxide, i.e. it costs you 1/3 as much as the 50%, that's not bad. On the other hand, if it costs you half as much as 50%, it's like, I think I'll dilute it. You know, we'll just gear up and dilute that stuff. But it's currently questionable as to what we need to order, expedite, etc. We're trying to figure all that out right now and then get everything in place and also figure out such things as, well, how much of what do we need on hand? Well, two things. You know, how much you're going to be using, but also how long does it take to get here? You know, if it takes 2 months, I need, a 3 month supply is what I want to stock so that when I need to order it, I can get it in. So that's what we're working on right now, to a great extent, and it doesn't help. Not unusual sort of thing, but like I doubt that the people down there know what a burette is. What I did to make it a lot easier was whenever I'd send them a request, basically, purchase request, I'd say, okay, here's the link to buy one of these on the internet, like from Amazon or whatever. It's like, this is what you need. Here's where you get it. It makes it a lot easier for them to where they can just go, okay, fine. Yeah, click the link. Okay, how much do I need? Okay, debit card, and it's on its way. So that's what I did for them, was to go through the process, figure out the materials and the equipment list, find the links to everything I could. For example, I don't know, hydrogen peroxide in country, biourea in country, can't do that. But burettes, pipettes, beakers, all that kind of stuff, stirring hot plates. That's what I looked up, found suitable stuff, sent them the links for, so that they could get it ordered. But it is a fairly significant list of things. And once they get back to me with what's there and what's on its way, etc. Let's see, things to eat in South America. Now, I've heard the big cats are tasty, like jaguar, puma, and ocelot. Those are supposed to be tasty. Margay, not sure what that is. Jaguarundi, the tapir. Northern Tamandua, various monkey species. Huh? Yeah, they have one shipping container there right now. May want to get one in the future. They were also looking at basically an exhaust hood. You can go to Amazon and get little exhaust hoods. They're basically a frame covered by a plastic zipperable thing with an exhaust fan, a little electronic cooling exhaust fan and stuff, and a duct. And it's like, yeah, that's not bad for something small. If to build basically an empty cabinet, 2x4 framing, plywood on the walls and top, set it on top of some kind of table, and then you can just put a couple screws or nails or something along the top and have a couple sheets of plexiglass that just hang on it, let it swing down, What is the concentration of nitric, John? For concentrated nitric, that's a pretty good price. Yeah. So 67 for that. Yeah, concentrated nitric. That's a good price. I was buying last time I bought it was like $65 a half gallon, something to that effect. It's pretty pricey stuff. Let me get a drink. Hold on. Ugh. Let's see. I think we're right on YouTube. So let me double check something here. Okay, yeah, I haven't heard anything back from them. And yeah, it's just one of those things. You got to, when you're dealing with something out in the sticks, and this is really out in the sticks compared to Montana, you got to figure out all the little stuff that's critical. For example, I got them to order one inexpensive 7-function meter. It's about $35. It'll do pH and stuff like that. Then a cheap pH meter, and then some pH paper. Because that's really important stuff at times. You've got to be able to figure out what the pH is. And that's not the sort of thing that you can just guess. So, I say that's just one of those things that figure it out and say, is this a critical component? In the stripping circuit, you need a little peristaltic pump. They're like $20. Buy two. If one dies, you can still make gold. The stirring hot plate, that's pretty reliable and such. So you only get one of those. And if you had to, you could probably go to just a burner. But I say it's this sort of stuff where they're working on the various things and making sure they're all down there. Let's see. So that's what's kind of going on there. Hopefully, by the time he gets down there in a week or two, they'll be mining richer ore. He'll be able to quickly get up the leaching circuit and extract gold from the. So how much is that going to be? As I recall, it was like $1,000 a day or something. Let's see. It was. I was running at about 100 grams per kilogram. 100 milligrams per kilogram times 50. 1,000 divided by. Okay, so that'd be 5 grams times 450, I think it is. $2,000 a day. That's a lot of money. So that's where their economics may change dramatically in the next 30 days. Okay. So that's what we're hoping that will be accomplished, assuming that they get everything running well, etc. Then we can take a look and start searching for a better location to set up in around here somewhere. Okay. He was looking at maybe doing the sheriff's auctions and stuff, tax auctions, this sort of thing. So I'm not sure. So, but that's the basic plan, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, you guys got a lot more snow than we did here in Montana. $30-day is. I'm not sure what you're trying to say, John. But you got a smiley face there. So anyhow, that's basically the situation. I'll keep you guys apprised of how things work out. I'm not sure how much hydrogen peroxide I need. And one thing I do not have here is what happens when you take those sulfides and put them in the little mini ball mill for a couple of hours. I suspect it's going to be down to somewhere around 250 minus, which could make a huge amount of benefit in terms of extraction. So we shall see what we shall see. But I say that's one thing I have to get me so I can get a better handle on these things. Anyone got any questions or subjects or anything they want to ask about or talk about or whatever? Yeah, well, especially as that's on top of some of this ore they're running is running like almost 30 grams to the ton, 1 ounce to the ton. If you're processing 10 tons a day of that stuff, yeah, that's not bad. Just the gravity circuit is producing a crap load gold. Let's suppose you only get half an ounce per ton. So that would be 0.5 times 10. So that'd be 5 ounces, 5 times 5,100. Yeah, $25,000 a day. That's worth it. So they say we shall see what we shall see. I'll probably try and give them a call right after I do the live stream here and see what kind of an update I can get from them. Jared especially is usually so busy. It's hard to get in touch with him. So we shall see what we shall see. You're right. The oxidation zone is, but unfortunately that's near the surface, theoretically. And it's lower grade. It's had time to leach down. No, I have not, Mr. Virtue. So it's winter up here. And even though it's been a very mild winter, everyone's still in the winter behavioral set. Probably within the next week, I'll start going over to Lauren's on a regular basis. He's got a lot of work to try and get done before the snow melts. And so those days where he's in town working on stuff, I can go over there and help him out. Now that Eva's feeling better. It's when she was getting worse, you don't want to leave because you don't know what's going to happen. Now that she's getting better, I can feel a lot more comfortable leaving. And I say I'll only be 30 minutes away, so it's not that big. So yeah, let's I don't know what it is here. 15 was earlier today. Pretty warm. Weather, Helena, Montana. Currently 25 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. Tomorrow 41, Wednesday 40, Thursday 46, Friday 47, Saturday 49. Oh, we almost got up to 50 before it drops off again. That's just insanely warm temperatures for up here. Thank you, Shaggy. So am I. It's been a rough time, but she's toughed it out without too much difficulty. There's been a few rough spots, but she's a tough girl. She's also very disciplined. One of the things, people who get radiation in this area often can create a lot of difficulty swallowing and stuff. And Anita's been very diligent in her exercises so that she's doing pretty damn good. Okay. So I'm very impressed with how well she's handled this. And I say we shall see, but I expect her to be pretty good shape in a couple of weeks. Not, full speed or nothing like that. Yeah, pretty much, honey bunny. Me too. So as I expect her to be in pretty good shape in a couple of weeks. But I'm feeling comfortable with her condition right now. So that's a relief. Yeah, it is warm for here. Right now it should be, 15 below at night, 0 during the day. That would be more normal. So it is quite warm for here for this time of year. Usually, like mid-January, it just gets bitterly cold and stays there for a couple of months. True, honey bunny, by definition. Anyone else got any questions or subjects or anything to talk about? Don't have a lot more to report than that at this time. It was nice having Eva back on the live stream. Where is my global warming? We don't like you, John. Global warming doesn't like you. It's all your fault. Okay. So I guess that's about it. Why don't you cue it up, honey bunny? I want to thank everybody for showing up tonight, your input and stuff, but also I'm sure for all your prayers and stuff for Eva over this time. And I'm very happy that it seems to be turning out well. And we shall see what happens in terms of the future here. But she seems to be healing up. It's the speech therapist's name. It take 2 to 3 months for the taste to probably go back to where it was, but not necessarily. That's a little iffy. So anyhow, that's good. Go ahead, honey bunny. Shaggy says he wants to see you next week. Copper price prediction? I don't know, James West. What's your prediction on copper, little one? Anything?
People are saying it's going to go north of 7 within the next 6 months.
North of 7 within the next 6 months seems to be the consensus out there that she's aware of. So anyhow, thank you all for showing up. And thank you, Michael. Happy prospecting and keep it safe out there. Hey, Brian. Got here a little late, didn't you? Goodness. You'll just have to go over the replay. So, anyhow. Yeah, late. 7:30? Goodness. So, anyhow, I got to get going here, Brian. You take care of yourself. Happy prospecting and keep it safe out there. End.